There's a quiet morning in Tokyo where the sun rises over a modest home. Inside, an elderly doctor, one of Japan's oldest practicing physicians, ties his shoes, pours a cup of green tea, and begins another day. He is over 90, yet his mind is sharp, his hands steady, and his heart full of purpose. Reporters often ask him what his secret is, how he has lived so long and stayed so healthy. And each time, he smiles gently and says, "The secret is not about avoiding death. It's about learning how to live each morning." He has spent his life studying the human body and watching thousands of people aged, some gracefully, some painfully. And in his long years of practice, he's discovered that the first signs of decline, especially after the age of 60, don't begin in the heart or the brain. They begin in the mornings. Those first few hours after you wake up hold the key to either preserving your life or quietly shortening it. According to him, there are morning habits that can triple your risk of stroke without you even realizing it. One of the most dangerous is staying in bed too long after waking. Many older adults wake up, feel a little dizzy or stiff, and choose to lie there for another 10 or 15 minutes. But this is precisely when your blood pressure naturally spikes. Lying flat, then suddenly sitting up or standing without circulation flowing properly, can cause sharp pressure changes in the brain. He advises gently sitting up, breathing deeply, and stretching the neck and shoulders before even placing your feet on the floor. Your blood needs a smooth start, not a shock. Another risk factor he often talks about is skipping hydration in the morning. After hours of sleep, your body is mildly dehydrated. The blood becomes thicker, and the risk of clotting increases. The simple act of drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning can drastically lower the chance of a stroke. He always keeps a small glass by his bedside, not coffee, not tea, but plain water, to remind himself that even the smallest daily rituals can be life-saving. He also warns against rushing. Many people, even at 60 or 70, jump into their day with unnecessary urgency. They check their phones immediately, think about chores, or get caught in a wave of anxiety about what must be done. That mental tension transfers to the body, heart rate quickens, breathing shallows, and cortisol floods the bloodstream. The doctor's advice is simple. Start slow. He often spends 10 minutes sitting by the window, watching the light change, allowing his heartbeat and thoughts to synchronize before doing anything else. In those moments, he says, the mind becomes a partner to the body, not an enemy. And yet, what truly keeps him young is not just avoiding bad habits, it's cultivating good ones. After he drinks his water and stretches, he practices what he calls light movement with gratitude. For him, that means walking around his garden, touching the leaves, or greeting his old bonsai trees as if they were lifelong friends. For others, it could be a slow walk, a few gentle yoga poses, or tai chi in the park. Movement wakes up the blood, oxygenates the brain, and reminds the body that it's still alive and useful. He believes strongly that the human body is not designed for stillness. The moment we stop moving, the mind begins to decay. Even small, consistent movement matters far more than occasional intense effort. A few minutes of walking, breathing, and stretching can protect your arteries and heart more than you imagine. It's not about doing more, it's about doing it every day, without fail. The doctor also speaks often about diet, though his philosophy is surprisingly simple. He says, eat until you are 80% full. This old Okinawan principle, hara hachi, helps the body stay light and efficient. Overeating, especially early in the morning, puts stress on the digestive system and raises blood pressure. Instead of heavy breakfasts full of fat and sugar, he recommends warm soup, rice, fish, and vegetables, a balance of warmth, energy, and calmness. One of the most striking lessons he shares is that health is not just physical, it's emotional. After 60, loneliness becomes as dangerous as smoking. He tells his older patients, if you eat alone every day, your heart grows weaker even if your body stays strong. He encourages conversation, laughter, and connection. Every morning, he calls an old friend or neighbor, even if just for a minute. This simple habit of kindness, he says, keeps the soul awake. He has also studied countless patients who suffered strokes and heart issues later in life. What surprised him most was not how unhealthy their bodies were, but how hopeless their minds had become. Aging without purpose, he says, is the fastest way to lose life. Purpose doesn't have to mean grand achievements. It can mean watering your plants, teaching your grandchildren, or writing letters to yourself. The important thing is to wake up every day, believing the world still needs you. The doctor's words remind us that health after 60 is not about medicine, it's about awareness. Each choice, each breath, each thought shapes how our hearts beat and how our blood flows. The first signs of risk appear not as pain or weakness, but as neglect of our mornings, our emotions, our gratitude. He once told a group of students, if you want to prevent a stroke, don't just focus on your blood pressure. Focus on your mornings. How do you greet the sun? How do you treat your body when it wakes? Do you rush into life, or do you honor it? Those questions linger long after the conversation ends. He doesn't believe in perfection. He still eats sweets occasionally, takes naps, and sometimes forgets things. But his consistency, his devotion to small, mindful routines is what keeps him strong. Every day is an act of care, a quiet dialogue with his own body, and perhaps the most inspiring thing about him is his attitude toward aging itself. When asked if he fears death, he laughs softly. No, he says, because I have already practiced living. His eyes shine when he says this, a reflection of decades spent healing others and observing the fragile beauty of human life. He believes aging is not a curse, it's an art that requires balance, patience, and love for the ordinary moments we often overlook. If you are over 60, or have parents and grandparents who are, remember this. Health is built in the mornings. The choices you make in those first hours echo through the rest of your day and your life. Drink water, breathe deeply, move gently, and speak kindly to yourself. Treat your body like an old friend who has carried you through decades of storms. Feed it wisely, rest it gently, and let your mind stay curious. The Japanese doctor's life is proof that wisdom grows when we slow down and listen to the rhythms of our own hearts. Each sunrise offers a new chance not to live forever, but to live well. No matter your age, it's never too late to begin. Start tomorrow morning differently. Rise with intention, greet the day with gratitude, and remember, your best years are not behind you. They're waiting in the next quiet sunrise.